Stop. This could be the most intriguing and useful half an hour that you have spent in a long time. So stop, put away the distractions and just pay attention a little bit as we examine conflict management from a completely different perspective. Right? I'm going to share 7 out of the box innovative ideas with respect to managing conflict. So I'm Trevor E.S. Smith. I'm with the Success with People Academy, and I will be your guide through these next few minutes. Remember, we promise and we do adhere to the so technology issues there, internet failure, but we're back. So I want to talk about conflict from a completely different perspective, right? I want to look at 7 edgy, innovative ways to look at conflict. All right, so let's go. The first one is treat conflict as creative fuel. Yeah, instead of looking at conflict as an irritant, or as somebody says, oh, conflict is inevitable, so we just have to live with it. We don't have any agency. Well, let's take another look at conflict. Now, at its core, conflict is really about unmet needs. If you think it through, you will see that it is a need that's not been met that produces conflict. And, we've studied all the different kinds of conflict, whether they are internal and, expressed and unexpressed or interpersonal, all of that. But at the end of the day, it is a half full glass of apple juice, and I wanted a full glass, or somebody has had a half of my glass and I'm upset, interpersonal. So those are some of the things that we have to consider. So the bottom line here is that at its core, and this is the fundamental concept that we want to use as we go forward and look at these out of the box ways of dealing with conflict. Conflict is unmet needs. So internal conflict could be, I'm just concerned about my weight. Has nothing to do with anybody else. But when I come to work, that conflict could be impacting my behavior. In the context of the team, it could be that I want my voice to be heard. I want to have a voice. I'm not being heard. Or it could be that someone is speaking to me in a way that I do not appreciate. At the organizational level, company could be having a challenge because we're not meeting our targets, or we have a pesky competitor who is eating into our market share. All of those things are needs, issues arising from unmet needs. So I want you to work through this with me, right? Just work with me, please. So when a need is met, progress is made. Hope you can agree with that. All right. So there is a need, and we're not talking want, we're saying need, and that is now met, progress is made. So if we have that mindset, then we can see conflict as a catalyst. Yes. So instead of being frustrated about my weight, I could seek progress by trying innovative weight management approaches. Yes. In the team, I could suggest, I could lobby and try to find ways in which new approaches could be taken to managing meetings. So my voice is now heard because everybody is being heard. And the other thing could be that we might use technology and have a forum, where people can actually come and give their ideas online. Okay. So here's the other point now. Okay. So I see a chat in, so we can actually pull that down. No, thanks, Roy. So our organization also now might be forced to find innovative strategies if we are to survive. So we could see then this unmet need, this conflict, driving innovation and creativity. So thanks. So we can pull down the chat. Thanks. So with that understanding, then we should actually welcome the emergence of conflicts as really and truly they are showing us the way forward. Yeah. So welcome, have more conflicts, help us to identify these needs that need to be met. And as we meet these needs, wow, progress is being made. That's an approach, a different approach to thinking about conflicts. So the key then is to reframe conflict as an untapped source of creativity. Beautiful idea, okay? That we're looking at conflict now and saying, okay, let us try to identify the needs that are there, because when we meet them, or in order to meet them, we have to be innovative. We have to look at new solutions. Unmet needs then become a catalyst for innovation. Yeah. So if we have that mindset and we see conflict then, not as roadblocks, not as irritants, but as opportunities to make progress, then we can have a different approach. Again, at least psychologically, we're not as frustrated, we're not as annoyed, because when things come, we can deal with it. So number one then was to view conflict as a catalyst, fuel for progress. The second one is to look at our rules, redefine our rules. A lot of conflicts come from inflexibility, rules, this rigidity around procedures, about the culture even. This is how we do it. This is how we think. This is who we are. Some of those things really affect how people function in the organization and how conflict may arise. And those things can be adjusted and without losing control over accountability. If we relax some of these things, and I would even say relax, that's not a good word. If we adjust some of these things and have a different set of arrangements that facilitate evolving needs, arrangements that reflect changing personalities, changing dynamics. If we can get ourselves to that place, then a lot of the conflicts might be moved out of the way. So this is how we have been doing it since Mr. Jones was the CEO. It's a long time ago. He's retired, gone a long time, but we're still doing it this way. What I'm saying is, can we together adjust and make some kind of change to how we operate to prevent, and I'm going to use the word prevent conflict, but also to resolve some. That's the idea behind this different approach. So again, first thing we looked at was conflict as a catalyst. The second thing we looked at is that we could redefine the rules, the way we operate, so that we can not only mitigate, but actually prevent a lot of the conflicts. The third thing then, this is interesting, is to embrace guerrilla communication. What is that? Basically, we're going to go beyond formal meetings and emails and, place greater reliance on informal um, communication. Right? So let me tell you something. Communication is a major unmet need in organizations. We do climate surveys, employee satisfaction surveys, and I can tell you that every single one, right up near the top of the list, communication is identified as a problem. And so the question is, what if we prevented some of these issues that we see in these surveys by changing how we operate in terms of communication? If that is a problem, why don't we look at different approaches to communication? I have an article that talks about meetings mete out punishment. That's it. That basically we have to have these meetings. And I'm saying, yeah, are there other ways to go about it? What about some of the guerrilla communication tactics, which is what we're talking about here, where we can just meet at the water cooler, meet at the coffee machine, and just to have informal check-ins. We don't necessarily have to have everybody come and sit, in a meeting to get an update from Mary or from John. Yeah. What about some post-it driven, brainstorming where we, sit together. Again, I would put up the post-it notes and discuss the things as against, formal presentations with, PowerPoint, and we go through a lot of research. Anonymous idea sharing, modern day, what do you call it now, suggestion boxes. So we could use electronic means to have that done as well. That's what we're saying. Okay. So these unorthodox methods could, in fact, remove a lot of the barriers to communication that people complain about and prevent the conflicts that are related to them. Good. So moving forward. So we're now looking at the contrarians, and that's where the problem is. Yeah. The whole question is that sometimes we have individuals and their behaviors that we find irritating. Yeah? And so what if we could look at those behaviors from a different perspective? Not that they are annoying, but that they could be opening up the doors to opportunities. Yeah. That they might actually be preventing problems. Yeah. So what we're suggesting is that you should identify these descent champions. Is a bad thing to say, but yeah, but it's real. You want these people that are, yeah, maybe you see them as going against the grain, people who challenge the status quo. Yeah, but those people are preventing groupthink. Yeah, fostering healthy debates. And when we have these healthy debates, sometimes things that are not brought to the surface, but will come to the surface eventually and be a problem, those things come out early and we can deal with them. So these people could be seen as really a secret weapon in preventing conflicts on the road. I'm saying preventing, not resolving, but actually getting ahead of the game. Yeah. So that's a way to go about it. So let me, we use the discerning communication framework, right? So when we look at the D style, one of the things we know about D style is the desire for change, wanting to have things happen and wanting to happen now. So that could be annoying. Why don't we fix this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we? We just got here. Yeah, that might be a way, that is getting on their skin because Trevor is consistently wanting something changed, wanting something done differently. Hold on. Your C-style colleague could also be the thing where. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you that. What is the basis on which this is done? Where's the evidence Ah, come on, man, let's just make a decision. No, we need more data, we need more evidence, we need more information to make the decision. That could be annoying. But those interventions, those incessant inserts could be healthy and should be welcome. We shouldn't silence them. That's important because at some point in time, those issues might. So that's one of the things that we can look at as well. How do we embrace the contrarians, people who are marching at a different pace or want to ask questions? Yes. So number 5 would be, don't worry, what I will do at the end is do a quick back, go back and run them through you for you. All right. So behavior. Behavior is important. For me, I can tell you that in my couple of decades now of working with individuals, teams, organizations, behavioral style differences represent a huge percentage of conflict. Just a fundamental difference in terms of how we perceive life and how we want to relate and how we want to give information, receive information. Yeah. If you think about behavioral styles like you think about language communication, speaking language, or you can understand how easy it could be if a German speaking individual only speaks German and wants to speak with somebody who speaks Chinese and they have to communicate about important matters. You could see the challenge. Yeah. And the same thing is happening behaviorally, is that we have different behavioral styles, and out of those styles come conflict. Yes. So you might, if you look at on the right, in the red, you might be giving us just simple instruction, and the feedback might be, "Don't boss me, don't boss me." I don't like the tone in which you're asking me to do that. If you want me to do the thing, just ask me, but don't boss me. You know, I think, yeah, an issue. So that is some of the things that we want to talk about. If we look at on the list, we have a situation here where, again, the C-style individual might be saying, yeah, but just respect my privacy. Why would you want to know this about? No, I just want to know where you live. No, okay, fine. Want to pop by on a Saturday afternoon? No, okay. So we need to understand these things. So if we apply our discerning model of communication and leadership, we can prevent, and I'm using the word prevent again, we can prevent many conflicts. Right? So here's the answer. Identify your behavioral preferences. I'm suggesting, of course, that you do a formal behavioral analysis. And of course, we do extended DISC behavioral DNA assessments on the Revolutionary Things platform. So do an assessment, do an analysis. You will learn so much about yourself. I can tell you, I had great insights from my assessment that I didn't understand. So there are some blind spots and some hidden areas in your life that no matter how old you are, how long you are, how insightful you are, you can't do it without an objective analysis. And so we're saying, do your behavioral assessment so you understand who you are. And also get some coaching as to how to identify the behavioral styles of others. Of course, it will be wise if you're working in a team to have everybody do the team analysis, and then you can put up team maps. So that's something that you could do. But then that is going to help you. I can tell you, when I'm doing work with teams and we put up a team map, just put up the name, people could say, oh, that is why I'm having such a challenge with John. Or why don't we give Mary this task to do? It's there. You can actually see, because the coaching, the guidance that you would have got would tell you how different behavioral styles function, how to get best results from them, how to interact with them, all of that is there. That helps to reduce and eliminate a lot of the conflicts. So the key then is to uncover and challenge the ingrained habits that lead to conflict. Some of these things are recurring decimals. And if we just stop and to say, hey, what's the source? Why is this happening? We can, in fact, prevent them from happening in the future. So our discerning communication techniques, principles, help you to steer clear of many conflicts. And so it helps you to have a greater level of awareness and appreciation of differences in behavioral preferences. And so you can then proactively adjust and address conflicts. That in turn will reshape the culture of your team. All right, number 6, moving forward. Use, this is strange, this is crazy. Anyway, I'm not quite off, off the farm yet, but use conflict resolution gamification. So we're talking about playing conflict. You don't understand the frustration and the pressure and the problems that come from conflict. And you're talking about games. Yeah, but relax. Ooh, take it easy. Game style, fun elements, especially if you put in competition and scoreboards. Those things just have a difference in terms of helping people to adapt, adjust their behavior. So the key would be challenge teams. Yeah, let us keep a score to see how many conflicts have we, had this month. And let us see if we can reduce it by X%, or let us have a competition as to how we can actually move. Tally, win-win. When we had issues, some of these things where we have the silo fights, let us see if we can come up with win-win solutions and tally those things and keep a score, and to have quarterly sessions where we identify teams or individuals who have done things that help to produce harmony in the organization. That's it. Competition. People love competition. People like to win. And so if we find creative ways to put fun stuff into this conflict battle, you'll be surprised to see the results that you can get. It's a thought, and creatively you can do it. Right? If you want guidance and help, putting up my hand, I'm here to help you. All right. Number 7, coming down, embrace unconventional leadership. Yeah. So what we're saying is, and I believe you may, I think I need to take this down and to show it to anybody afterwards. Because this is what are we saying here? Embrace mindful rebellion. We want our leaders to rebel. Whoa, what are you saying? But anyway, embrace leaders who challenge conventional norms. But of course, they need to, value, not step outside of the values or the vision or the team dynamics. But there is a way, man, that some of these leaders can deal with the conflicts, not only in resolving them, but also in preventing them, getting ahead of the game. Last time I spoke about some of that in terms of the conflict prevention strategies, where you see that inevitably this is going to be headbutting in action, and just get ahead of it. Get ahead of it. That's the key. Yeah? So what is the bottom line here? We're saying, let's redefine how we view and manage conflicts. Let's have a different mindset. Let's play around with it. Yes, play around with it to see if we can have some kind of engaging way to deal with conflict, prevent conflict. And then, of course, you will see a spurt in team performance. Why am I saying we'll have a spurt? Because a lot of time and energy is being spent resolving conflicts. Or if it is not even being resolved, it might not be expressed, but people are pulling themselves out of the system because they have some unmet needs. So let's sing a new song. Let's play a different tune and see how we can have highly productive, harmonious themes that thrive on the edge. Yeah, that's where we want to be. Let me just share something quickly with you. Is that I put out this offer and I want to um, go back through it. I basically offer a lot of my services. Like for example, I go to a infant and prep school, and I do a devotion with them, and then I go back in the afternoon and I have an after school program called Christ Ambassador. So yeah, I'm reaching out. I'm in a reaching out phase, and I'm suggesting here, and I want to celebrate people who have come to these live casts and have taken action. I want to celebrate you, but some of you might be coming and saying, "Okay, fine, good to know. Nice information, but no action." Of course, nice to know without action. Application doesn't help. But here we go again. I'm still going to put on the table that I will do one of these. It's going to be long, like maybe an hour, since you want some interaction, live interaction. But I will run a webinar with respect to conflict with your team at no cost. No cost to you. Just send me an email at info@successwithpeople.org. And by the way, these live casts are available on our YouTube channel, Extended Disc Solutions. See it at the top right, Extended Disc Solutions. And also, we have this nice group on LinkedIn, Leadership DNA Club. You can ask me to join as well. It's not one of these bulletin boards where people just come and dump stuff. It's really good stuff that's there. All right. What I'm going to do then, I should tell you who we are a little bit, right? So we are the Success with People Academy, and we are part of the InfoServe group, and we deploy our discerning model of communication and leadership that helps people at a personal or a team or an organizational level to make progress. And we are franchise holders for Extended Disc, where we do this granular behavioral DNA assessments on the Revolutionary Things platform. Contact me. Let's have a talk. All right? All right. So for those of you who either came in late, were taking notes, and we are going too fast, let me just run through the 7 suggestions, out of the box suggestions to deal with conflict. So treat conflict as a creative fuel, It's a catalyst, basically, because unmet needs are, in fact, the source, the platform, the basis of conflict. So if we can address those needs, if we can identify them in the first place, then conflict could actually become a catalyst, for change, for innovation. So that's number 1. View conflict differently. Right? And then the second one is redefine the rules. A lot of procedure and rules and systems and culture just cripple individuals and cause a lot of conflict. And we are saying you could actually collectively come up with some different arrangements that allow for more flexibility. Flexibility as situations change, as personalities change. Yeah. Let us look at the dynamics and redefine our rules. The other one is communication. Communication is a mega problem. And what we are saying is that if we embrace this concept that I'm pushing, calling guerrilla communication, which means go beyond the formal meetings and the emails and look at some informal thing, because as we have said, these things come in every employee satisfaction survey that we have done. Communication is a big issue. So what about just some more, I'm coaching some leaders and I tell them, accidentally, but from your calendar though, accidentally meet up with somebody in the corridor. That's one of the ways to connect, etc. And you can catch up. You don't have to have a formal meeting to get an update from John or Mary. Yeah. So some water cooler, some coffee machine, these kind of check-ins, and then some brainstorming. Again, we don't have to have the big formal presentations. We could just give people some post-it and they just boom, boom, put up on the wall ideas and we move forward. And then, of course, what about modern days, some kind of electronic suggestion box? Those are some ways that we can have people share ideas and we can have people get feedback, get information as to what's going on, solve the communication problem. This is the big one. The contrarians, right? So that's number 4, is to look at those people that ask a lot of questions and, have suggestions that trying to push you forward and, you're not ready to go forward. Yeah, those annoying, potentially annoying situations could be unearthing things that need to be done because they might become a problem afterwards. We talked about like our D style that consistently want change, or the C style want more information. Those things might be helpful. Right? The other thing is to look at behavior and to see how people communicate, because for me, my couple of decades of doing this, behavioral styles, conflict based on behavioral styles is accounts for most conflicts in my opinion. All right. So we need to use our discerning model of communication and leadership to address those things so that we can speak to people in a language, behavioral language that they understand. We can give them instructions and we can give them feedback in a way that lands better with them. That's going to reduce a lot of the conflict. Then, funny one, introducing fun games into, have people be able to win or, compete with each other in terms of ideas, in terms of actions that prevent, mitigate, resolve conflicts. Yeah. That's another one. And of course, turning some of these leaders who might be at the edge, but give them a chance to use unconventional means to achieve what it is that we want to do in terms of a harmonious environment. So that's it, right? So we want to redefine and manage conflicts in a different kind of way. Thank you. And remember the offer. I'm prepared to do interactive webinar related to team dynamics at no cost to you. And you can catch up on all these live casts at Extended Disc Solutions in our YouTube channel. And you're welcome to join our Leadership DNA Club on LinkedIn. Thank you. I'm Trevor E.S. Smith, and I'm with the Success with People Academy. We are SHRM recertification providers, and what that really means is that when we provide you with the professional development credits that you can use for SHRM recertification, it's really an indication that we operate at high international standards. Thank you for your time.